Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to discuss the film Iron Claw. I just finished watching it tonight and it was such a beautiful, sad, devastating, moving, lovely, real story, and I really recommend it to everyone. I don't know what it's rated, but I would recommend, I don't know if it's like rated R or something, but I would really recommend it to anyone. Quick mention, if you haven't watched the film yet, just leave this video because there are a ton of spoilers and I don't want to spoil it, so just go watch the film and then come back and then we can discuss. But basically, this film Iron Claw is about a real family of wrestlers, and it goes through the journey of these the brothers in this family, their story of wrestling, and how the greed and unfulfilled dreams of the father leads to the devastation of the sons and the downfall of the family. It is so beautiful to watch, but also excruciatingly painful, and it's so good. Like, I think my favorite part about this whole film is like exploring the family dynamics and also just the brotherly love. Like, what I loved most about this film, is how much the brothers loved each other. Like, throughout the film, you could see that, like, the oldest brother, Kevin, he really, really loves his brothers. He loves them so much, and it's just such a good film. Something I wanted to mention that was really interesting throughout the film is, like, as I mentioned with Kevin really loving his brothers, you could just see how, like, he's always, I don't know if it was like because Zac Efron did such a phenomenal job with his acting, but you can really see how concerned he feels for his brothers throughout the entire film, or maybe how the director like directed him and how he should act. But like, you could really pick up on the subtleties of how he is so concerned for his brothers. He loves his brothers so much. Like, even when he, has conflicts with them, or like they have to, fight each other to be the best wrestler in the family, at the end of the day, he really loves his brothers. And I like that there's scenes of like healthy, open and honest communication between the brothers, And like, the film finally broke me at the end when Kevin is sitting on the lawn of his new home and he's watching his sons play in the field, his two sons, and they're just two brothers and they're just so joyful, and he's just silently crying and he's sitting on the grass and he finally just broke down, and he's crying about, he's mourning the death of his brothers, because I'm literally crying right now, but like, he's the only brother left, and I think he feels so guilty that he couldn't protect or he couldn't save his brothers. Dude, like, watching the film, I was like, sibling love is so precious and so special. I'm literally crying as I'm saying this, but like, you can see throughout the film how much he loved his brothers and how much he wanted to protect them, and I think he felt so guilty that he wasn't able to save and protect his brothers. And when he's sitting on the grass and he completely loses his composure because he's held it in long enough and he's just silently crying, and he says to his sons, he's like, "I'm sorry for crying, like a man shouldn't cry," and then they like hug him and they're like, "It's okay, daddy, we cry all the time." I was like, yes, we need healthy male representation and processing your emotions. But also, like, when they said to him, when he said like, "I was a brother," I literally like, I like almost teared up at some parts of the film, but like that scene, I was just full on crying because I was like, he was like, "I was a brother," and then he just apologizing for crying, and then they're like telling him, he's like, "It's okay, dad, we'll be your brother." I literally, I lost it. I was like I'm like literally crying right now thinking about it, because like it was so beautiful. Like that ending was so good. I'm like clutching onto this because like it's so good. Like it was just so sad. Like even throughout the film, like you can see that each time one of his brothers passed away, he was just so heartbroken, and like he couldn't cry about it because he's a man. Bro, I'm like, I don't know this man. That's not my brother. I'm crying. Like, I can't even imagine what it's like being his actual brother. But basically, like, the film was so beautiful, and you know, it's so devastating that, you know, those, like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it, but like these sons were used as collateral for the father's greed and his unfulfilled dreams. And it's really interesting to see how that dynamic plays out, like how generational trauma can also be passed on, and how like some parents want to live their dreams throughout their children, and like some parents think that they're doing what's best for their children, but really they're just being selfish and trying to do what's best for them, and they don't like realize that they're the ones who are hurting their children. Because like basically in the film they also mention like the curse of the family because they changed their last name. But like if you think about it, like there's not a curse of the family. It's like the dad's toxic behavior and how he, you know, keeps pushing his children past their limits, past their capability, past what they can handle mentally, you know? And also just the mom not really like putting her foot down and just letting the dad continue to do what he does. And it was just so heartbreaking to see, like, you know, how Kerry had already became like the heavyweight champion, but then he is in a motorcycle accident, so then he loses his foot, and then he's still able to wrestle, but he's in so much pain that he ends his life, which was so heartbreaking. And something that my dad mentioned that is kind of like a domino effect, butterfly effect, is that like if Kerry had not gotten into the bike accident, then like Mike, the youngest son, he would not have been forced into wrestling. And then what happens with Mike is that like because of Kerry's accident, Mike is also begins wrestling because he feels like he needs to fill in the shoes of Kerry. And then he is injured, and then after that injury he becomes like developmentally challenged, and then he is pushed past his limit, so he can't wrestle anymore and he takes his life. And it's just so heartbreaking seeing each brother pass away like time and time again. I think like as a viewer, I felt like I was feeling all the emotions that those brothers were feeling in that film. Like I was emotionally attached to them. I really liked them. And just seeing them like pass away over and over again was just so devastating, so heartbreaking. Another scene that also really broke my heart is like the mother before the funeral of Kerry. Wait, I think it was Mike's funeral. Yeah, Mike's funeral after David's funeral. She struggles to put on her black dress because, you know, she doesn't want them to mourn the loss of another child. And it was nice to see that she started painting, I think painting again to kind of heal herself, I think. What was also so heartbreaking is that one scene like before Mike passes away where he's like telling his mom, like confiding in her that like he's really struggling and he doesn't think he can do the wrestling anymore. And I think like it wasn't like his mom was trying to hurt him, but I don't think her words of advice or encouragement were the words that he needed at that moment. And I think she, like later on, you can kind of see how the film hints at how I think she felt really guilty for his death too. But yeah, this film was so good, so beautiful, so heartbreaking. I watched the movie and I was like, wow, brotherly love is so beautiful. I was like, I'm not a brother, but I wish I had a brother, and I wish I was a brother. And I think those are my closing thoughts for this video. Please tell me what you thought about the film in the comments down below if you've watched it, and maybe I'll chat about the next film. I just want to circle back to that like scene again with Zac Efron, like he's hugging his two sons and they're like, it's okay dad, I'll be your brother. I was like, no, because like before that in the film, like he also had a really hard time. Like he was really depressed when they had their first child, because like, you know, they're one of his, I don't know if it was like, because it was all overlapping at the same time, but I don't know if it was because it was when David passed away or Mike passed away, but when one of the brothers passed away, he was having such a hard time when his first kid was born, and he had like, he definitely was depressed. But yeah, when he's like there crying and he's like, I was a father. What was, let's end this movie, let's end this little video on a high note. I loved the afterlife scene where all the brothers were reunited. I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I'm sobbing. Like, they all get to be together and they all get to hug each other, and they even get to see their like oldest brother, the like brother that passed away when he was a child. And it was a beautiful film. I definitely recommend it to anyone who has Netflix or no Netflix. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Bye.